Hey everyone, it's me Stagger. I am very PO'd and I just want to vent out my frustration. And if you're not really one for that, then I recommend that you stay away from this video. But as you know, I make this kind of series as kind of you know, a sort of vlog type thing as I just casually play Minecraft just for the heck of it. And for those who see my videos, you know how pretty laid back I tend to be, but yeah, I'm pretty PO'd. Mainly because I was pretty close to actually getting a job, but I had to decline it. I mean, I was very close. I had an offer. Everyone loved me. The person loved me. Yeah, the person hiring loved me. Uh, my references pulled through and whatnot, and it was great. It really was. But it was all for naught. I had everything written up on the board. I was ready to pretty much get this job and everything else, but unfortunately, it was for naught because, alright, because I was working. Okay, so basically, here's the deal. Here is the whole deal. Here's the whole deal. I thought that if I were to join this, basically, if I were to join this team, I would actually be okay with, being able to, switch stores. But apparently, what they told me was that basically since the managers are different, they could be looking for different things, different teams and whatnot. And because they had no idea of anything of the other team, I actually had to decline their offer because I had no chance on moving to my side of town. Basically switching stores to my side of town because they're specifically looking and hiring for those of their side of town. And, it's not their fault. It's not their fault at all. I'm not blaming them for any of this. I'm just very PO'd about the situation that just accrued before my eyes. And, basically, yeah, I'm just PO'd about that because, you know, it was a successful interview. A successful interview. In fact, I'll even go ahead and state that it was a perfect interview. But apparently, it was for the wrong side of town, and they were looking for people from their side of town and not the other side. Now, I know that sounds a little bit confusing considering, how can I mix up the sides of towns? Well, it's because when I was informed about this position, they agreed, or no. What I was informed about this position, I was informed that they were both sides were hiring. And so I thought, okay, so they're hiring at the same time. Maybe they might have, maybe they're, the same managers and I can actually choose which store I go to, either the east side or the west side. So I want to, go to the west side because that's where I live. But apparently, they were hiring strictly for the east side and had no, pretty much they had no, sorry, I'm very flustered right now. They had absolutely no contact or nor information or really anything affiliated with the West Side. So I had to decline despite the fact of, being absolutely, everything that they're looking for in the position. And just, it's irritating. It really is. And like I said, I'm not blaming the people. I'm not blaming the company. It's just, that situation right there is just absolutely, it's just absolutely just annoying, really. There's no polite way to put it. I am very annoyed. Now, luckily, it is just a month away. Yeah, pretty much. It is just a month away, and I will wait. But where it stands right now, I'm still unemployed, and I am very, very angry about that. Yeah, basically. I have no other way to put this, and, obviously it's no one's at fault. Maybe I'm at fault for not really, considering losses, or even since my lease is almost up, I can actually move to the east side. But, I'd rather stay closer to family than to be focused on a job. So, obviously I would rather, basically, yeah, I would choose family over anything else. I love my family. And, I won't live further away from them, just for some dollar signs. Honestly, family is a lot more important than dollar signs. Just, right now, my main priority should be job rather than morals, but honestly, I can't really do that. I really can't. And my father said the same thing. You really do need to find a job, even if it means breaking your morals. And yeah, I have to agree with that. Like, there's a whole bunch of fast food positions that I could easily get. In fact, I actually know one of the managers personally in a fast food restaurant. But I'm not going to do that. Mainly because I can't necessarily feed people something that I cannot eat physically myself. Last time I ate fast food, I got really sick, really dizzy, my heart started pounding, and I actually passed out for a few minutes. And I cannot do that. Serve up that much grease to people, knowing that I could potentially be the person responsible for giving someone that heart attack. I cannot live with that. I just can't. I really can't. So, obviously, my principles conflict with this kind of dilemma here. So, obviously, I'm kind of screwing myself over for that. And, I'm willing to admit that. I am literally screwing myself over all because I disagree with something. And that's not necessarily something that you should probably do when you're searching for a job. But, something will come. I'm waiting. I'm being very, very patient. Very, very patient. Something will come eventually. Believe that I can accept. If worst case scenario, I can reapply for the position, or I can reapply for the same job on a different side of town. You know, I can even state that, you know, I have tried to apply here before, or I have tried to apply to the position before, and you know, they can actually contact the manager. So I actually know the manager by name. So basically, yeah, I can contact them, or they can contact them, and you know, give them the quota that I made, or that, you know, I applied for, and even the stuff that people said about me with references and whatnot, and you know, obviously I'm going to give them an entire list of you know, full list of basically the I forgot what they're called, references. Yeah, I'll give them a full list of references and whatnot. You know, they can call them. They know me. They know how well I worked. Blah 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 blah. Oh, blah 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 blah. And you know, they can even call the manager from the east side, talk about the misunderstanding, and you know, everything will be good. Everything will be good in the end. Just, you know, just the fact that that happened, like, you know, I was so close into getting a job. Very close. Like, you know, they offered me a deal. It was a part-time position, but I was willing to take it. They offered me the deal, and I just threw it away. I just threw it away because, you know, it was something that I couldn't really handle. Like, because the east side is pretty far away. East side is very, very far away, like 10-hour walk far away, with like dozens and dozens of highways, and you know, I am terrified of highways. I really am. Like, I would not drive near one at all because I'm terrified of them. It could be because my ex, oh my god, she was crazy with highways. She would literally go like 88 miles an hour on the highway in her DeLorean. And no, I'm not joking at all. She had a DeLorean, and she would go 88 miles an hour on those things. Even though the speed limit says 60, no, she would go way beyond that speed limit. She loved driving fast. I always got terrified, and I had to close my eyes and just protect myself with my arms and whatnot. It was terrible, terrible, terrible. But yeah, basically, I feel much better now. I really do. So, yeah, I'll wait another month before I try to apply for the same job, but, you know, in a better location. I'll try to apply for the same job and in a better location, and, you know, everything will be good. Everything will be good. Just gotta wait it out a little bit longer, you know, just figure things out. I'm still applying for, you know, other jobs and whatnot. That's you know, so everything's gonna be okay. Okay, I still have enough money to sustain myself, which is great, which is excellent. Exactly what I need. That one warehouse position had never called me back. Oh wait, I never mentioned that it was a warehouse position, but basically, yeah, the previous one I had an interview on and never called me back, so I feel like that might be a lost cause. So, yeah, so as where it stands right now, I'm still jobless, and I'm still going to be hunting for jobs. Even with that whole you know, new store thing on the east side, I still had to go because it was like new. I had to go through an orientation process and all that junk. So technically, you know, I was hired, but at the same time, I'm, you know, still in the process of being hired for the for the position, because you know they gotta train everyone into, you know, being a part of the team. And you know, I'm pretty confident in my ability as a store worker, because you know, 3 years of experience is quite a lot of time. Apparently not enough time for any of the hardcore corporates like Target and Dillon's and whatnot. Even certain gas stations rejected me for one reason or another. But you know, like I said, just gotta wait it out. Be patient. Okay, come on. Oh, yep, there's the magma cube. Oh man, that's bad. Okay, let's see here. Oh wow, that's quite the leap. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not dealing with that at all. So yeah. Yep, just gotta be more patient. Something will come eventually. So I will be... Yeah, so I will be waiting. I'll be waiting. Oh, by the way, that unemployment benefits thing, I applied for it, and it's pretty much a sham. Like, it's been about... Whoa. Ooh, I almost jumped down there. That thing is pretty much a sham as far as I'm seeing. Like, you know, I think it's been about... Yeah, it's been about a month, and I still haven't received my credit card for, you know, unemployment. It's crazy, really. I don't quite understand, you know, the whole process of it. Like, I understand they have to go through, like, the Department of Revenue and all that junk, but the Department of Revenue, and even figure out taxes and tax deductions, and you know, are you applying for jobs and all that. They had to go through that entire process and figure out why you got fired and all of that. But in the end, you know, I'm not even sure if it's even worth it, because you know, I just barely found a job within 1 month, and yet they're still actually going through the process of, you know, trying to, you know, see if I'm eligible to even receive the card. Like, seriously, they're still trying to figure that out. But you know, it's still good to apply for unemployment. Believe it or not, it's actually pretty good for your credit score. So yeah, if you're unemployed, apply for unemployment. It'll be worth your while. Even if they do absolutely nothing, it's still worth your time. Time to go through the hassle of it. Yeah. Yeah, but as far as I'm aware, pretty much nothing is really changing. I'm just glad that my final paycheck was so great. You see, this is why you actually save your vacation time. Like, I had like over 100 hours of vacation time, and my last paycheck was pretty darn big. So I was very happy about that. But of course, you know, that's a limited resource when you're, you know, unemployed. So yeah, it's not pretty. It's not a pretty thing. Well, anyway, I'm glad I got that out of my system. I know this was more of a ranty video, but like I said, I gave you the warning from the beginning. If you're not really into the whole, you know, life rant videos, then, you know, don't just stay away from it. And, you know, if you did, I appreciate you listening. It sometimes, even if I can't see the audience, it's always nice to know that there's an audience around. So, oh, whoa, 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 whoo, whoo. You're not gonna get me. Anyway, yeah, it's always nice to know that there's an audience, even if I can't see or interact with said audience. Just knowing that there's an audience around, it really does help. Okay, so obviously that's a lava that leads into a lava pool. So let's go ahead and just continue digging around here. So I guess anything else that's been going on. I got my capture. I finally got my 3DS capture card after 4 months. You see, that's actually kind of a fine print whenever you're ordering your 3DS capture card or even your PSP capture card. Is that it will actually take a while before you get it, and it does actually mention that on the website. You're technically pre-ordering your capture card, but the thing that it doesn't tell you is that how far back you're pretty much ordering it. For me, it was 4 months. It might be even longer if you're, you know, planning on getting a capture card around the holidays or even around a new release like maybe the newest Pokemon game. In my case, it would be Sun and Moon. Or rather, no. In most people's cases, it would be Sun and Moon. In my case, it was actually because of Monster Hunter or Monster Hunter X, I believe. So a lot of people were actually ordering a bunch of capture cards during, obviously for the release of that game. I have actually never played Monster Hunter, but I heard it's actually pretty good. Heard it's actually pretty good. I mean, like, Namco definitely seems to promote it quite a lot. I understand it's one of their games, or I think it's one of their games, but hold on. Anyway, I think it's one of their games, but yeah, Namco seems to pretty much hype it a lot. They put it in a lot of their games. They reference it quite a bit. Like I said, I know absolutely nothing of the game, but definitely does seem like something that does definitely seem like a game that people thoroughly enjoy playing. I might give it a shot just to see what the hubbub's about. Um, Now, I'm not sure what, like, I'm not even sure if I can even download the game because it requires a new 3DS, and I'm not sure what other console it will be on, and I need to blow my nose. Anyway, I'm not even sure what console it's on, besides the new 3DS. But if I had to guess, there could be a Wii release, and even a. I know that it actually had some of its origins around the PlayStation, but as for which PlayStation, like the PlayStation Portable, the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 3 or 4, I don't know which PlayStation they're exactly talking about. But I do know I just made a secondary crafting table. Lovely. But I do know that the game exists, and apparently there's a lot of hype behind it. So, I'm probably missing out. Just like how I was kind of missing out on Dragon Quest Fever. And I can see why many people, well, at least in Japan, many people actually really loved that game. So much so that it actually caused dozens of trains to actually be delayed in schedule. So many people called in work and all just to play Dragon Quest. And oh my god, that game. It's basic, like bare bone basic in terms of fantasy adventure. It's not as emotional, and it's not as, well, actually, I guess it wouldn't really be emotional, but it's not as depth driven as like a game like Seventh Dragon, or even what else is there? It's not as emotionally depth driven like Seventh Dragon, or Legend of Dragoon, or even, I'm not even sure what Legend of Dragoon is, but, or I haven't even played Legend of Dragoon, so what am I saying? But what else is there? What was it? Bahamut Lagoon. There was also Final Fantasy. Well, at least from 4 to, or at least Final Fantasy 4 to current day. Final Fantasy 3, it was okay. Like, I really didn't like the job system, but you know, it was okay. I played through both the NES and the DS version, but you know, it's not really my cup of tea. Main reason why I didn't even like Dragon Quest V all that much. So, or not Dragon Quest V, but Final Fantasy. Yeah, I played through. Yeah, I played Final Fantasy 3. It was okay. Final Fantasy 2 was a nightmare. Oh my god, it was a nightmare. I hated the way they did the leveling system. And pretty much I spent most of my time leveling up rather than yeah, basically doing level grinding instead of actual gameplay, and that was monotonous. That was very monotonous. As for Final Fantasy IV, now that's actually my favorite game. Final Fantasy V was meh. Though I did like the storyline a bit. I just didn't really like the gameplay all that much. And where the heck am I? Man, I keep climbing up and up and up, but I'm seeing no end in sight. So I think it's probably best if I just go back down and try to figure out where I'm at. So, let's see here. Anyway, yeah, Final Fantasy V was meh at best. Final Fantasy VI was actually pretty good. I didn't really like the battle system, mainly because, well, it was too easy. It was too easy, so I kind of had to play it without... So I pretty much had to play that game with a challenge involved, where pretty much I used no espers or even... Or I pretty much used no espers, and all the armor I find is found through the magic of loot. Yes. I only use armor that I find on the ground, or I find that enemies have, and nothing more. That's it. It's actually a pretty fun way to play the game, and it does add a nice challenge to it. Have been some modification or some mods where basically the game is either at 10 times its original difficulty or even worse. But ultimately, like, the best... Yeah, basically. But really, in fact, I'll even go ahead and state that, like, you know, those kind of mods actually kind of force you to use espers, or else you're pretty much not even gonna get close to winning the game, because there's, like, always... Because they always, because those kind of modders always abuse, you know, those instant kill attacks, or they raise the enemy attack or special attack so high. Special attack, what is this Pokemon? They basically raise the... Yeah, basically the... Yeah, they're basically ramped up the enemy's, you know, magic attack very, very high, and it's it's to the point where pretty much it could just wipe out your party as soon as it does the finishing move. So you have to pretty much use espers in order to, so that way you can use life 3. And yeah, it's a bit crazy in terms of, you know, how people can interpret difficulty. But if you really want a nice challenge, as much as I hate to say it, Pony Fantasy 6 actually does a fair challenge. Give or take, the final boss may actually give you a pretty difficult challenge without any espers, but regardless, you can do it. You can actually play through the entire game without espers. Give or take, I actually had a tool assist the final boss because I got tired of trying to get through Lady in Rest. Lady in Rest were terrible. Terrible. I hated Lady in Rest. Even in the original game, Lady in Rest. Oh my gosh. Really. It was horrible. So, yeah. Anyway, I know this is kind of a awkward video, especially without any music. But yeah, this is... Yeah, I'm very happy that you actually stayed to the end and, you know, helped me vent out the infuriating story I had and whatnot. It really does feel good whenever you talk it out. Like, you know, if you're ever angry, even if you have to talk to a mirror on a wall, you know, do it. Because, you know, venting out your frustration is always great. You should never hold in frustration. No matter how much is around you, you know, even if you have to walk outside and scream your head off because, you know, things are not going right, you know, just do it. You know, scream. No one's gonna judge you because the world is large and you know, they just think you're just some random person, you know, just screaming out, and you'll be asking, who is that guy, and no one would know who you are. So, yeah, since no one knows who you are, it doesn't matter what that random person thinks about you. So, you know, if you're in a public place, vent out your anger. Don't feel awkward about it. You know, just do it. And then if you're in a private place, then you have pretty much all the area and space around to vent out your anger, either through talking, through writing, which I actually did for a while, and I even gone outside and shouted my head off and even snuffed my mouth with a pillow and just screamed. And it really does feel good to get that frustration out. Like, you know, why this stupid mod trap takes forever to load. It's a mystery. It's gonna be a mystery forever and ever. Like, as you can see here, there's 30 entities. Yeah, the entity rate has dropped dramatically, so I will be having to figure out what is going on in there, but I'll do that next episode, and when I finish up the floor. I'll also be finishing up the floor and whatnot, so yeah, it could be because of my computer, it could also be because of certain other things, but yeah, there should definitely be a lot more mobs in there. So anyway, that's it, and I'll be seeing you.